Hello everybody, and warm welcome to the Blockchain Technology and Applications course offered by the University of Nicosia for the Master's degree in Digital Currency. This is session 5, Smart Contracts and an overview of algorithmic decision making. This is an introductory video for session 5. In this session, we will talk about smart contracts and the developments in the space of linking them with our physical lives. When people assemble a contract in writing or otherwise, why do we do it? In a sense, we like to put our agreements in a structured form that would be understood by us even later, when we forget about the details and certain conditions that we agreed before. But we also put it down in writing or otherwise so that we have a proof of something that we both agreed upon. Our signatures are that proof. Without signatures, we would have no tangible proof that the contract at hand is really representing our agreement. Having a signature in ink is in principle really the same as having a digital signature. So, the next question is, why is a contract a legally enforceable document? And a simplistic answer is that we can rely on courts to help that contract's offer is fulfilled. Traditional contracts are fulfilled under the threat of a financial or physical penalty. Smart contracts can turn this to another aspect. A good definition of a smart contract by Bartoletti and Pompiano is that smart contracts are computer programs that can be consistently executed by a network of mutually distrusting nodes without the arbitration of a trusted authority. Therefore, the role of courts and the surrounding legal system could be a bit changed, perhaps even reduced. So smart contracts help to automate contracts by making their execution uninterruptible, unstoppable sometimes. And smart contracts can go a step further by making contracts not just between humans, but between machines as well. Technically speaking, we have different types of smart contracts. We can say that transactions in Bitcoin can be smart contracts because we can program these transactions to be executed under certain conditions only. And these conditions can be quite complex using Bitcoin script. And in Bitcoin, once the unlocking conditions for the transaction are met, the transaction or the contract execution, if we say so, is undeniably processed. In Ethereum, smart contracts can be even more complex because we have a Turing-complete language to create their code. Further on, in Corda, smart contracts are yet another step further by establishing a clear link to our physical world as well. Ricardian contracts, which are used there, thus connect human contracts with machine-readable code. In order for smart contracts to become intertwined in everyday lives, whether in business processes, governance, or else, there are some threats to overcome, such as collaboration with authorities, new regulation, and even competition among systems that all try to become a standard. A lot of platforms for smart contracts are still in the making. Some are more mature than others, of course, but a good introduction to this space is to learn about Ethereum and its concepts, and so we can use this knowledge on other platforms as well, because the main principles are very similar. But because smart contracts live in decentralized applications on the blockchain, there are some things to be aware with regards to their life cycle. From development, deployment, upgrades, and even final deprecation, we must consider all phases. An important thing to remember is that everything, or most everything, that we do on smart chain contracts, with smart contracts on the blockchain, this can be observed by others. So our data, our business logic, etc. can be visible to others as well. Ethereum is a good starting point, as we mentioned, so we will briefly describe its main features. We might do a short demo of creating a smart contract, which anyone with a web browser and a little patience can do. For some time, counterparties seemed to bring Ethereum smart contracts to the Bitcoin world. As of now, the project is not evolving further, despite some good potential it might have had. Can you think of the reasons why counterparty is not pursuing that goal anymore? So consider the protocol that the counterparty is using. On the other hand, Rootstock is a force to be recognized. It aims to be a bridge between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Similar idea than with Counterparty, but on a completely different technical level. And Rootstock is trying to tap into the benefits of both Ethereum and Bitcoin without falling for their issues. Rootstock also has a considerable community, and its mastermind, its leader, is a long-time expert in the space. On a similar note as before, can we think of Rootstock's challenges in the future? Then we move to the legal aspects. So if smart contracts were to be legally binding contracts, they need to be more than just a code, some computer code that parties agree upon, perhaps even develop together, and then sign with their keys. Smart contracts would need to incorporate all corresponding constraints and obligations of the surrounding legal system as well. When designing smart contract systems, we must not forget about the human factor. We can get carried away easily when thinking about decentralized applications and decentralized this and that, but some aspects will remain in the human domain for the foreseeable future, like who develops and maintains these steps. In a sense, contracts are agreements between parties. So, in some way, it doesn't matter if they are written as computer code or as a traditional contract on paper. But if we want to make smart contracts legally binding, then we must account for the surrounding legal system as well. And smart contract templates build upon the notion that parts of legal documents can be standardized and reused. By using the Ricardian triple, templates can be tailored to the specific use case through the execution parameters that control the code and its corresponding legal prose. Primavera De Filippi described a legal framework for distributed ledger technology back in 2014-2015, in which she weighted self-enforceability versus legal enforceability, and she indeed anticipated the use of modular templates that could bring smart contracts into legally enforceable contracts. Another dimension to explore is the dynamic nature of our agreements. What we agree on a certain date might change ever so slightly in the time after we shake hands. And dynamic contracts are tapping into that thinking. So not a day goes by that we don't find another use case for smart contracts. On one hand, we can talk about moving digital assets. On the other, we talk about decentralized applications. So financial industry is probably the most concerned with smart contracts at the moment, not only as a possible disruptor to their business, but as a new product and an option to create new products as well. There are many use cases elsewhere too, like in supply chain, entertainment industry, and so on. We will also present an empirical analysis of current smart contract categories that was made in 2017. This concludes this session. Hopefully we have raised your interest in these topics. You are invited to share your opinions and comments on the forums. For any questions and any other help you might need, please don't hesitate to reach out and write an email. Thank you and happy studying!